Hey there, welcome back to the Push Forward podcast. I'm your host, Alex, bringing you the latest and greatest in the world of digital marketing, influencer marketing, and creator economy. Today, we're just going to talk a little bit about social media and how it's constantly evolving. Every year, when I look at the different updates that these platforms make, both on the advertising side, but also the pages side. And when you look at pages, whether they're a page for a creator or a page for the user or a page for a business or brand, right? All the different settings are really hard to keep up with. That's the truth, And then the tools that they give us on the back end that can connect to other tools make it really challenging for the average solopreneur to have the kind of time that it takes. It's not that you can't take the time to understand it. We can. It's just most people don't have enough time in a day to go learn about every little update that they're constantly making, how they change their KPIs. And then on top of that, I know you all can empathize with me on this one and how painful it is to compare and contrast the definitions, like what it means in one platform versus the other, as far as metrics like awareness, reach, followers, impressions, and things like that. It's a little bit, sometimes there's a pretty close overlap, like impressions are pretty much the same everywhere, but how they count them is a little bit different, and how they define them. So I want to make sure I share with you, what I find today in 2024 to be the top 10 social media marketing goals that can actually transform your brand, your company. Because believe me, there are hundreds of different metrics that you can measure your success by. And so it's important that you understand which ones can really take your brand to the next level. And, whether you're a startup or a seasoned business, these goals are your roadmap to success in the digital space. So let's get started. Now, first up, increasing brand awareness. Let's talk about that. It's all about getting your name out there, but getting your name out there isn't easy because if you don't already have a captive audience, it makes it very hard for the algorithm to put you in front. So it's important that you understand how the algorithm works at its most basic level. So, for example, if you're on LinkedIn, simply adding hashtags to a post and putting it out there is not going to really get it out there because LinkedIn has already said that, hashtags aren't the main variable in getting your posts to be seen, right? It's more of the context of what's in the post. So you don't necessarily need to use hashtags in a LinkedIn post. Will they help you get discovered? Sure, but it's not the main algorithm indicator for them. What you really want to use, let's be honest, is eye-catching content, which is hard to do. If you don't have an in-house graphic designer or team, sure, you can use tools like Canva, Photoshop, and others, but it's about taking time to put together something that actually stands out, right? Something that stands out. It doesn't always have to be consistent. I kind of really dislike the idea that every post on your social media should be the colors of your brand, the look and feel. And that's nice. It shows that it's a consistent brand, but sometimes you need to step out of that, right? Because different colors evoke different emotions. So creating the eye-catching content for brand awareness, engaging in trending topics. Again, this is one that while we want to say, oh, I don't want to comment or create a post about a trending topic. After all, trending topics is like news, right? It's clickbait and it's what people go after. So keep an eye on what's trending across different platforms. And then if you know that you can speak on that topic, go ahead and create a post for that. And then stay consistent to keep your brand on your audience's radar. Staying consistent means like if you're going to post every week, do it every week. And you don't have to do it the same day, the same time. Actually, you should test with different days, different times, because you might see that the brand awareness actually goes up, right? You may think that the weekend is not the day to post your most exciting content. Maybe it is. So think about that. Next, we're going to talk about initiating conversations with customers. I think this one is really important. Social media is not just a one-way street. It's a dialogue. So engaging with your followers, responding to the comments, and then creating content that encourages interaction is important. Make sure someone is managing your direct messages, your DMs, and then make sure that those messages, when they come inbox, you talk to whoever it is. Now, if it's spam, definitely put them on the block list. But the idea is that people are going to engage with you, and so when they comment on your post, yes, you should have a comment back if one is appropriate. And then there's generating interactions using owned or shared media, right? So share behind the scenes, like glimpses in, and use stories and user generated content to create a sense of community, which again, it doesn't have to be a very large community. Like if you're a solopreneur, if you're a book author and you only have a list of a couple hundred followers, and email lists with a couple hundred, that's okay. But get them to talk about why they like your product or service, why they like your channel. Get them involved, do a poll, do some giveaways, do a story for them. I mean, if you're doing show and tell, for example, like electronics, and you are showing how something works, showing the audience the behind the scenes of how you put together the set and how you go about creating that story for your audience is really appreciated, right? So I've seen this with like flower shops, I've seen this with people who work in the food industry, and we all want to know how things work behind the scenes. So that's a great one to engage your audience. Enhancing support is crucial. So, social platforms are truly the new help desk, because you have users who will only communicate with you through social media because they know they get a quicker response, and you're more likely to be proactive on the support because of the brand's reputation risk. So it is significant to have someone in your organization who is managing the feedback that you're getting on social media, especially reviews, right? Like reviews are important. Somebody gives you a bad review, you need to like respond right away, never be combative, right? Next up, assembling a group of loyal advocates is really the next big thing. Groups are huge, and you don't have to have, tens of thousands of users in your group. As a matter of fact, the more exclusive you make the group, probably the more people are going to engage with it. So look, first, identify and nurture your brand enthusiasts. I call these your, like, not just the raving fans. These are like the people who really love your company, love what you do. They're going to be your best marketers, your best voice anyways. And then give them exclusive gated content that they can only get through that group. And maybe you even build that group into your website. Doesn't actually have to be on social media, but obviously it does make it easier if you're doing it on social media. Now, product development, right? So creating product development through social media feedback is the game changer, I think, because I've worked with a lot of e-commerce brands where you can get that feedback and engage your audience in the creation process. And what it does is it has shown that you can foster ownership and loyalty, which is something that we as all marketers are looking for the customer to do with our brand, is to be loyal. And when you involve them in this, it really changes everything. So I did a series of workshops called Discover and Ideate a few years back, where we brought in lots of different companies. And the idea was that we would do a design thinking workshop on basically how to launch new products and services. And it was really a great way to show my customers, half of the people in that room were clients, was a great way to show them how we go about launching new products. And using design thinking is obviously a great framework for creating that, doing the prototype all the way to the testing. So use that and get that feedback when you're trying to launch a new line of business, right? Obviously, website traffic is the next big one, right? You want to use compelling calls to action. So make sure you have the right calls to action on your social media pages. Like if you don't do phone service, right? Like if you actually don't pick up phone calls, don't put in call us, because that's the wrong call to action, right? And then of course the links in social media posts, the link in bio as well. Which, by the way, if you're looking for a link in bio app, Pushbio does a great job with that. You can actually, do your shortened URLs, but you can also do link in bio that way and create all your pages and content under one page and be able to track it as well. So the next one would be leads. I mean, everybody wants more leads, right? Lead generation is a topic that is always hot. So for you, I'll tell you the truth. When it comes to lead generation, you have to use targeted ads. Targeted ads, lead gen tools are available on platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google, where you can actually do the lead ad form, the form that is hosted on the social media platform, and gather that information, first name, last name, email, phone number. So, if you're let's say a personal trainer and you are trying to collect new leads, you don't actually have to get the user to your website to fill out the form on your website, right? That's a few steps. The user can actually, if you do a lead ad, you can actually capture that information right there on the spot, and you can work the leads right from the social media platform. So leads is definitely important. And then also, I like to use social media for hiring employees. It's a great way to tap into a pool of talent that's already familiar with your brand and can engage. Recently, I put out an ad to hire a business development rep within the first day on LinkedIn, and this was the free post. And then once we knew we were getting traction, then we did the actual job ad. But just for the free job post, in the first day, we had over 50 applicants to the position. And it really allows you to have that conversation and qualify the candidates quickly and give them an answer on whether they are a fit or not. And lastly, using social media for research and surveys, it gives you the direct insight into your audience's preferences and opinions. And then one tool that you cannot overlook is Facebook's library tool. The library ad tool allows you to look at your competitors and see what kind of ads they're launching. How many ads do they have? Are they getting traction? So it's a great, I would say, secret shopping tool that you can use for your just to improve your overall social media presence. So there you go. That's the top 10 social media marketing goals that I believe can transform your brand. It's always changing, but I think that you have to evolve with social media and see where your users are going, because social media is a dynamic and powerful tool in your marketing toolbox, right? So you can't say I'm not going to use social media, because most people are on social media. But if you use it in a strategic way, you can see that the results will be better than if you don't use it strategically. So make sure you're using the right goals. That's it for today's episode of the Push Forward podcast. Don't forget to visit pushbio.io for more insights into influencer marketing, digital marketing, and all that good stuff. Make sure you subscribe, give us a rating. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, let us know. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep engaging, and let's make an impact on social media.